a war can only be won if and until and unless the final soldier is down. Now, if you're trying to get through the chapter of probability, the final soldier in this chapter are the JEE questions. So if you can understand and do the JEE questions, the deal is absolutely done. So let's start on with 5 JEE questions that I've accumulated from past years, and let's solve them and again make a strong foothold into the understanding of all the various concepts of probability. Let's start. JEE questions. The first question into the set of JEE questions is, if the probability of an event B is 3/4 and the probability of A intersection B intersection C dash is 1/3 and the probability of A intersection B intersection C dash in which the event A is taken into complemented form is also 1/3. So what do we need to find out? We need to find out what is the probability of B intersection C, and this question has come up in JEE 2002. So as this question is involving so many events, I don't know how they are going to look like and what is the relation. So the best possible way out for these kind of questions is to go for Venn diagram. If I'll go for Venn diagram, I'll make the most general Venn diagram what I can think of. So if I'm drawing like this, so let's mark up the events, and the events will be A, B and C. Now what do I have? The very first thing is probability of B. So the probability of B is nothing but 3/4. But what I'm seeing over here is the total probability of B will include everything, which I have shaded in single strokes. Now the second thing is probability of A intersection B intersection C dash, which means I am interested into the probability of A intersection B, which is this part. So let's make it with red. So this is this part again, and it is also including the part which is not included in C, so which means this. So this part is the representation of the part. I'll color up it with a different color. So let's say I'm coloring it up with purple. So this part, specifically this darkish part, is the representation of the part, that is P of A intersection B intersection C dash, and this value is 1/3. Similarly, on the same pattern, I'll try to find out the probability of A intersection B intersection C dash. What do I'll find out? That probability of A intersection B, see this is A, and outside this, which is included in B. So this whole thing is included in B, but what I'm expecting is I'm also expecting a C dash intersection, which means the part which is not included in C. So the part which is left out, I'll try to put it up with a yellow shade. So this is the part which is just going to be left out. So hence this is the part which I'm going to treat as the third one. Right, so if I've taken all the three parts, probability of B is 3/4, again with the fact that probability of A intersection B intersection C dash is 1/3, and probability of A dash intersection B intersection C dash is again 1/3. So hence I've found out all the different reasons. But what is the requirement now? So let's concentrate over here. The requirement is probability of B intersection C, and from the given figure, can I say that this part can totally be written as total probability of B minus this probability and this probability. Look up in the figure, that total probability of B, if I subtract this and this, I'll just be remained out with this part, which is nothing but B intersection C. So I can write that probability of B intersection C is nothing but probability of B minus probability of A intersection B intersection C dash minus probability of A dash intersection B intersection C dash. Now I know the value of probability of B, that is 3/4. This is 1/3 and this is again 1/3. So this will be nothing but 3/4 minus 2/3. If I'll take the LCM and do the processing next, this will be 9 minus 8/12 and hence 1/12. So this was a JEE 2002 question which is of 3 marks, and this was the procedure how to do it. So 1/12 is going to be the correct answer in this question, hence the option number 1. So see, this is what we try to do in JEE questions. We just go through the basics. You won't find any question which will deal with various concepts which are very hi-fi. They'll only deal with the very basics. If you have learned them fine enough, you're going to rock it. The next question is, two numbers are selected randomly from the set S. S is what?
It is collection of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 without replacement, one by one. So 2 numbers have been taken up, and that too without replacement. This is very important. The probability that the minimum of the 2 number is less than 4, right? We need to find out the probability of the event. That is nothing but the event is the probability that minimum of the 2 numbers is less than 4. So first of all, in these kind of questions, what do we need to have? We need to have the sample space. The sample space is very much of importance in these kind of questions. Now if we are going to find out the sample space can be found out using this statement. We need to pick up 2. So the very first object can be picked up into 6 ways, and the next object can be picked up into the 5 ways. And see, I am not going to divide it by 2 because I am doing it without repetition, right? So if once has been chosen for the first time, so there are only 5 things which can be chosen into the next part. So 30 is the total number of ways with which I can choose 2 numbers. Fine enough. So the next thing is I need to find out the probability of selection that the minimum of the 2 numbers is always less than 4. So event E is defined as selection of 2 numbers which are less than such that minimum is less than 4, right? So see, there can be 2 parts from which they can be selected. First will be the group of 1, 2, 3 and 4, and second will be the complete group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. From these 2 parts I can totally select the set of 2 numbers which will be such that the minimum of the number is less than 4 is nothing but 6 into 4. So hence I have total number of cases which are favorable for this event. The probability of the event E can be defined as number of elements in E upon number of elements in sample space, and hence it can be written as 6 into 4 into 6 into 5. Hence the answer is going to be 4 by 5. So let us check which of the following option satisfies that. Option number D is the correct answer for question number 2, which is of JEE 2003. This is a question which is just testing the knowledge and the understanding of sets, which is taking up through probability. Moving further, if 3 distinct numbers are chosen such that randomly from 100 natural numbers, then the probability that all 3 of them are divisible by both 2 and 3. Now let's understand this very easily. I need a number that is divisible by 3 as well as 2. So don't you think I am talking about a number which is divisible by 6? So that's the crack of the problem. If I can find out the numbers which are divisible by 3 from first 100 natural numbers, I think the life is easy. So the natural numbers start from 1 and they go till 100. So the very first number which is going to be divisible by 2 as well as 3 is going to be 6. And after that is going to be 12. And after that, if we move on further, I'll find out a number that is nothing but 96. So these are the parts of my favorable events. These are the sets from which I can choose, and first hundreds are the numbers from where I can choose my sample space. From sample space can be taken. So if I'm really considered about that, so what will I do? I'll choose my sample space. Sample space can be chosen very easily, and that will be 100C3 because I need 3 numbers. And from the knowledge of AP, I can find out total number of terms, because last number is going to be 96, and 96 divided by 6 is nothing but 16. So which means as the numbers is starting from 6, so I am taking the multiples from 6 1 times to 6 16 times, which means there are in totality 16 numbers, out of which I need to search just 3. So the number of possible ways of combination of that is 16C3. That is the favorable values, and the sample space is nothing but 100C3. So the answer is going to be 16C3 upon 100C3, and if you'll do the whole expansion process, the answer that you'll end up is 4 upon 1155. So this is going to be the answer, 4 upon 1155. Now see in this question, what is there which you were not knowing? See, this is just the application of the English into mathematical format, and once you have done it, how easily and how fantastically can you decipher that? That is the biggest problem in probability. If you can understand the questions properly and correctly, probability is a cakewalk. Let's do the next one. It seems quite interesting as it has occurred in JEE 2005. JEE 2005 was a time in which JEE paper used to give questions which were very tricky and very enthusiastic enough to find out answers. Now the question is, a fair die is rolled. The probability that the first time one occurs at the even throw is. Now that's what is very fantastic. What we are doing, we are throwing up a die, right? So once we have thrown up a die, I don't know what is going to come. So let us make an event A in which 1 occurs. If it's an unbiased die, the probability that 1 will occur is 1 by 6, and E dash will be the event that anything apart from 1 is occurring. So that will be nothing but 5 over 6. Now what it is saying, the probability that the first time 1 occurs at the even throw, which means I have thrown it once, so once means very first time and the throw is not even, so I need E dash for the first time, and as the events are independent, so I can use the multiplication, and in the even throw I can expect event E. But suppose this is one case, but it is not happening. In second case also I am ending up with a number which is not 1, so third case cannot be the number in which it can be E, so again it will be E dash, and the fourth event is going to be E. Similarly, this case will go on, because suppose in fifth term I am not going to get, on fourth term I am not going to get the event E, I'll get E dash, so hence in fifth it will be E dash, and sixth it will be E, and it will go on till infinity. So what we are going to have, we are going to have a geometric progression of infinite series. The value of E dash is 5 over 6, and the value of E is 1 by 6. This thing is 5 over 6 cube into 1 by 6. The second thing is 5 over 6 over 5 and 1 by 6 and so forth. So what I can do, I can take 1 by 6 into 5 by 6 common out of it. So what will happen, this will be 5 over 36 plus 25 by 36 into 5 over 36. Second will be 25 by 36 whole square, 5 by 36 and so on. As this is GP which is going towards infinity and the sum is converging, as well as the mod of R is less than 1, so the summation of the series, which is nothing but the probability, will be nothing but 5 by 36 upon 1 minus 25 by 36. So this will be nothing but 5 by 36 upon 11 by 36. Hence the final answer is going to be 5 over 11, and the correct option is option number B. See, this was one of the fantastic questions in which if you can understand the language, you can break the code, and understanding is the only criteria for doing a JEE question. Now this one is also interesting. 1 Indian and 4 American men and their wives are to be seated randomly around a circular table. Then the conditional probability that Indian man is seated adjacent to his wife. Now this is the question of conditional probability asked up in JEE 2007. Let's understand it and let's go by procedure by procedure. Let us make an event. Suppose call the event E as American man is seated adjacent to his wife. Right. Now make another event A, and that is nothing. Indian man is seated adjacent to his wife. Right. Now what do I need to find out? I need to find out the conditional probability that Indian man is seated adjacent to his wife. So let's make the intersection event of A intersection E, in which American man is also seated with his own wife and the Indian man is also seated with his own wife, and that can be done in 4 factorial into 2 factorial to the power 5 ways. So this is the way in which A intersection E can be written as. And secondly, even when each American is seated to his wife, each American is seated adjacent to his wife, that event can be written as in probability of E, and that can be written as 5 factorial into 2 factorial to the power 4. So the conditional probability that Indian man is seated adjacent to his wife can be written as probability of A given E is there. This will be nothing but intersection of A and E, and upon the total number of events or the sample points that can occur in the event E, and this can be found out by the formula of probability which we have used. So the answer is nothing but 4 factorial into 2 factorial raised to the power 5 and divided by 5 factorial into 2 factorial raised to the power 4. Hence the answer will terminate to 2/5, which is given in the option number C. So this is how you're going to find out the answer to this question. Thank you.
So while studying the chapter of straight lines from the sessions, if you have had any doubt, you have to go to the website www.askIITians.com. Over there you will see a discussion board. Click on that. Then on the right hand side of the page you will see Ask Experts. First of all, go and select your category. You can choose the category, then you will post your question, and after that you will click on to get answer. We experts at Ask IITian will revert back to you in 24 to 48 hours with the solution. So now we have completed everything, starting from the video, the lady in the red car, the man in the white car, understanding of algebra of events, sample space, random experiment, Bayes theorem, conditional probability, total probability, and then in the end some JEE questions. This is the sum of all the concepts that we have learned and applications at a common point. If you have not understood this chapter, go and watch the previous parts again and again and get a strong understanding. And if you have doubts in any subject or any more topics, log on to askiitins.com for more videos of physics, chemistry, biology and mathematics. Stay tuned and keep learning.